Hey everybody, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and I'm doing some more work on the Brubaker Box. So I'm waiting for the radiator for the Mercedes to come. I've got an event that I want to bring that to shortly. Nervous energy is certainly flowing through me because that's a big project for me, but having the Brubaker to work on is definitely helping pass the time. In fact, I'm getting a crap ton done on this car. So let me show you what I'm up to with it today. Now, obviously, the body and paint came out fantastic. I'm really pleased with the way all of that looks. The color is great. It's shiny. It's beautiful. Going to have a ton of fun with that. And now I need to turn my attention to the roof and bumpers. Now, this is a textured fiberglass here. You can see how it kind of has a vinyl top look to it on the whole thing. And as fiberglass does over time, you get some little stress cracks and things that pop up. And I've tried putting a couple of coats of paint on here. In fact, I've done that early on when I got it because the paint was all flaking off of it. And it's doing a fair job of filling in those cracks, but it's not fantastic. So I'm going to do something better with it because the paint came out so fantastic. So what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of sanding down some of the rough edges and high spots, not going down through this whole surface by any means, but if there's a spot where there's a crack that's lifted, I'm going to go after its edge there so that it lays a little flat. If there's anything that's stuck in the paint there or in the finish, I'll get that out. Obviously, the seam between the textured roof and the smooth fiberglass, that's another thing that I'm going to attend to. In fact, I've already fixed it or dealt with it on the other side. Let me get over there and I'll show you what I'm doing. So on the factory show car there, if you look at the Car and Driver magazine thing and zoom right in, you can see there's a black plastic trim of some sort that runs along the edge of the body. And so I sourced some flexible rubber trim, some 3M stuff here, and I've used some adhesion promoter on the back side, and I've now put that on this side here. And fortunately, it's flexible. It's fairly easy to work with. Getting it straight was a little bit of an issue, but I've got the long stretch on here down to this point. Once I finish the bumper, I'll trim a piece for that as well. But what's nice about that is it really trims off that spot between this and this. It's also going to give me a really nice spot to mask off to when I do something and spray this upper piece. Now, trying to keep tape and stuff off of the fresh surface here, that's kind of key. So I thought, well, I'll just use that as my mask line. And if I get a little bit of fallout into it or something, I'm not going to take any chances of making a mess out of that. So what I'm probably going to do, or what I am going to do, is I've done a little research and I've found this Rocket Extreme Coating, and this is by a company called SEM. Now, SEM does a lot of different paints and stuff that I've dealt with before for vinyl and things like that. There's other products that I've used with them. This is a SEM Satin Black chip guard that I'm probably going to put down here on this lower piece here, because originally that was painted a flat black, as you can see here on the original photo as well. In any case, this is basically a truck bed liner. So it's a urethane coating and has a bit of a texture to it. It comes with its own little applicator gun. And since it has that coating to it and it has its texture to it, I think it's going to fill all of those cracks fine. And as you can see, depending on how you spray it, you can get a variety of different patterns. And so I'm going to, once I have the top all prepped, I'm going to work with that and I'll figure out what looks the best. I kind of like this heavy smooth texture there. I think it's kind of fitting and kind of similar to what is on the roof here, but we'll see. So what I'm doing first, though, is I need to do some fiberglass repair on this front bumper here where I've got a good gnarly crack. I'm going to grab some fiberglass cloth. I've got some areas where there's chipping and stuff on the edges that I've got to deal with. Here's a nice chip by the windshield that I want to fill. Any big cracks or anything I'm going to deal with. Again, these cracks here, I've been just filing those down so at least it's smooth. And I think that will help it all lay on there beautifully. Now I'm going to mask off obviously the sliding rail for the door. And while I'm here, let me show you something cool. So when I first got this thing, the door barely worked. In fact, hang on for a quick second. It was really, really nasty. And I came to realize that it slides on these little brass or bronze bushings that just go right over the top of that rail. Now, I've been posting a lot of photos of the project up on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, of course. And another Brubaker owner suggested, in fact, he sent me a link to these little guys right here, which are a linear bearing that slides directly across that rail. And it's fantastic. He said it's an absolute game changer, and I agree, it is. I mean, you can see how much friction there was on the inside of this little bronze bushing. It's been rounded out a little bit already, and it was just not a great design, especially as this gets a little corroded, which it was. So that linear bearing put into the same carrier, cleaned up this rail, and now that door just opens and closes beautifully. Now, the one problem I need to fix, though, is that I'm missing the button for that door. So this is the door latch here. I've been told that this piece was sourced from Nissan or from Datsun. It was from a 240Z from about 71, 72. That's where the lock and button would be on the rear hatch. So I'm trying to find one of those pieces. If anybody can come up with that, that would be awesome. That way I've got a key so I can open, close, and lock that door. So anyway, neat progress there. Got that rubber trim on there. I think that trims it out nice. I got some new marker lights. These are from a early 70s Dodge van. I've got the red ones in the back and the amber ones up front. Those are brand new pieces that are licensed by Mopar. Really nice quality. Finished it off perfectly. Another thing I need to do is find a glass or do a plexi or something for this window, which is missing. I also need to do the sunroof the same way. So I was talking with a guy yesterday that's got a laser cutter that is good for doing that sort of stuff. He used to do signs and things, and he's got this amazing thing just in his garage here locally. So if I can get him a measurement, I think he'll be able to cut that and cut this as well. And then I can get all of that closed up. And then interior, man, I got a big mess in here to deal with. I'm not even going to go there yet. I'm going to focus on the exterior, just start dreaming and scheming about the inside. But the outside is really coming to life. Oh, and that front bumper. I know everybody hates that front bumper, but it's going to stay on there because it is the original front bumper and it's a part of that original design. It's certainly the most controversial part of the design, but it's got to stay. So I think originally they had designed it so that the spare tire would fit down in here. I don't know how well that will fit. I may take a look at that as a possibility as being a little filler. I even toyed with the idea of doing a little chin spoiler or some sort along here just to bring a little bit of that green color down there. I don't know, we'll see. But I am going to do a faux wood finish on this bumper once I fill all these little chips and little damaged pieces there and then make that look nice. Now, I don't have a bumper for the back, although I have talked with the guys at driven.co that have a couple of Brubakers and have had plans on remaking these bodies that they started working on actually some years ago. They don't have anything available now, I don't believe, but he did say that he has the molds for the bumpers and could help me with providing either have his guy do one of those molds, do one of those bumpers from the mold, or loan me the mold so that we can make one ourselves. But which I thought was really awesome for them to offer that to help see this car get together. And anyway, great reaction so far from everybody. Everybody's loving the Brubaker box, myself included. I'm going to keep thrashing on this thing as much as I possibly can over the next week or so here, maybe even a little longer. I'm going to go up to Monterey for Monterey Car Week. That's going to take me away from everything for a bit. And then at the end of this month, I've got the debut of the Mercedes 320. So I've got to spend a bunch of time focusing on that to make it look as presentable as possible and hopefully running and driving under its own power with a radiator that I hope to pick up on the way back from Monterey Car Week. In any case, a lot of information, quick little video. I hope you followed along with all my ramblings here and that you're enjoying the process and progress on the Brubaker Box. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Keep on digging them up and driving them. Bye-bye.